streak, also 3 straight shutouts. 15 shots and 4 shots on goal allowed only during that time, and here we go. That's Raphael in the midfield there for USF, going to battle with Pim. Cleary with the long stroke down, and it rolls out of play. Cleary with the cross into the top of the box. There's de Flores. Here's Bohane, the captain, trying to get something going early, just wide of that left post.
Well, what a quick 1-2 that was. Shane de Flores playing quickly. Great run there from Zach Bohane. Those two have played together for so many years, and just because, of course, de Flores hasn't been starting of recent, it doesn't seem like they've missed a step. Bohane, he'll be sad to not have put that one away. Jeremy Gunn of Stanford, the Stanford head coach, talks a lot about production. And he'll say, you know, you can look at the stat sheet and you can see efficiency, but what it's not going to indicate is how many times are we in and around the box, but we didn't get a shot off. So trying to get that more efficient. You're around the box, let's get a good shot. He says it's not going to register as an opportunity, but they love to get those crosses in the box. It's not going to register as a shot if it just goes all the way through. But look for that for the Stanford Cardinal team. They love to utilize the wings, get Fletcher Bank down the wing, and get a cross off.
That is something that Jeremy Gunn talked about in the most recent victory, 2-0 over Pitt here at home at Kagan Stadium. Said they had a great performance against a great team. A little bit frustrating in the first half, but they kept chipping away, and then he felt like they were more composed on both sides in the second, and he really does enjoy this home crowd atmosphere as well. You talked about him actually being the first head coach to reach 100 wins here at home at Kagan Stadium. It does seem to be a fortress here in what they are calling the capital of college soccer. And that's over the top of the net there, misses the crossbar.
And we talk about this, we can call it a Bay Area rivalry, I think. You mentioned 53rd all-time meeting between these two teams. USF actually holds more victories, but then you look at Jeremy Gunn, just speaking of Jeremy Gunn, since Jeremy Gunn took over, Stanford actually holds the record, 9 wins to USF's 3. So not only does he really dominate Kagan Stadium so far, he's had the Dons number.
Some contact there with Tenconi Gradius, who actually spent the early portion of his career more as a striker, but has become a solid presence in that back line for Stanford this season.
Yeah, such a fun story, Alfonso Tenconi Gradius, and so fun to talk to Jeremy Gunn about him because, you know, it's a little easier to get moved from a defensive position to an offensive position, less responsibility defensively, maybe you get to score more goals, but pulling a forward back into the center back position, and Jeremy Gunn said he's just been a natural at it, and he's embraced it. And the funny thing is, he still gets up on set pieces. He's tied for first in goals. He's got 4 goals on the year playing as a center back. So he's still getting his fair share.
A pair of braces for him this season, tied with Fletcher Bank for 3rd on the team. That's absolutely right. We've talked also about just the physicality that this Stanford team tends to bring. We've seen glimpses of that here early on in this match. On the near side, Cleary looking to set something up, works it back to Tenconi Gradius. Cleared out by the Dons. Here's Gradius.
That's a good clear by Tenconi Gradius. His fellow center back, Groneveld, was beat. Groneveld was trying to make that recovery run. If Tenconi Gradius hadn't stuck his foot in there, the Dons would have been off to the races. But that's a center back pairing that hadn't played together since until this year. Also, Dylan Groneveld hadn't played center back. So not only is it a new center back pairing, it's 2 brand new center backs. Dylan Groneveld having played in that midfield, particularly in the center midfield last year, which granted is an easier shift from center mid to center back than forward to center back, but still a brand new position for the two of them, and they've really developed nicely throughout this season.
Groneveld, the junior, out of Coronado, California. Nearly 5 minutes into this one. 2 shots on the board already for the Stanford Cardinal. from Lucas Jones into the midfield. Sorry on the far side. There's Groneveld. There's Pym, one of the freshmen making an impact in his first season. Down to Fletcher Bank on the far side. Into the box. Cleared out by the Dons. And there's Palmer Bank. Dispossessed by Mason Doherty, who moves it down the field. Here's Tanconi Gradius. Another one to watch out for the San Francisco Dons is Braden Beeson, the sophomore out of Keller, Texas. He scored his 6th goal of the season in the 3-2 victory at Pacific. Assisted by Alex Salamis, who actually had 2 assists in that one, and then another one in the 2-0 victory just a few days ago at Santa Clara.
Yeah, that one also off of the bench for Beeson. That the only game of the season he hasn't started for the Dons. He had 61 minutes off of the bench. So you could say he's fresh leg because he came off the bench, but not so much with 60 minutes coming off of the bench there. Yeah, leading scorer, 6 goals, leading points contributor with 13 on the season. Last year, WCC All-Conference freshman team, and he's been outstanding. 6 goals, 1 assist on the year, 2 game winners. He scored in 2 straight games versus Gonzaga and at Pacific, as you just mentioned, Jenna, that game before coming off the bench in Santa Clara. He didn't score at Santa Clara, but nevertheless, 2 out of 3, not so bad.
Those 6 goals, 5th in the WCC as well. Beeson was the Don of the game, the player of the game, essentially, in that victory at home, 1-0 over Gonzaga. Groneveld going for Fletcher Bank. That'll trickle out on the far side. Rylan Smith with the throw-in. One moment that's worth mentioning as well prior to the start of this one was the moment of silence that was held for the athletic director from USF, Larry Williams. We talked about how it's a pink match here tonight. There's a bigger why for this Stanford team, and I would say the same thing for this USF team after losing their athletic director at the end of last week.
Absolutely. You know, it's a Bay Area rivalry, but and then something like that happens. It's nice to see Stanford Cardinal obviously taking a moment to take a moment of silence and honor the Dons in that. This back to the game, a massive free kick here for the Dons, who spent the majority of the time defending.
There's Raphael.
And I like that play. I just mentioned they spent the majority of the time so far defending, so they opt to just keep possession.
Into the box, headed, cleared out, and then well over the crossbar from Chris Maldonado.
Yeah, that's one of those where the ball's coming pretty fast. It's going to be hard to keep that one down. He doesn't get his chest over it. He just kind of swings at it, so that one flies over. But a better opportunity. I like the initial on the free kick, going back to the other side, pulling it back the other way and taking the cross and picking out the pass that you actually want. That was Raphael, who shifted over, played on the right side against Santa Clara. He's playing more on this left side and this left flank right now against this Cardinal team.
Raphael is second on the team and tied for 12th in the WCC with 4 goals on the season. Tough goal kick here. Don's looking to reset. There's Matisse. Retian works it out to Maldonado. Out of play.
Better here from USF. They're holding a really deep line, which can invite pressure, of course, but so far it's started to work. Obviously, a little bit of an error from Ron Schnebly gives that away to the Dons, but putting a little more pressure on this back line of the Stanford Cardinal, who love to build it out of the back, seems to be working.
Schnebley again. Just over 10 minutes here in the first half. Some contact there with Groneveld and Beeson. Beeson lending a hand to Groneveld. It's a sportsmanship we like to see.
Yeah, you love to see that. I mean, it's a contact sport. It's going to happen.
Schnebley coming out to midfield. Goes to the far corner. Looking for Bank and Chow both over there and some contact.
Not a bad foul to commit if you're Alex Chow. I mean, this is going to push the Dons. I believe it was a foul called. Yeah, USF is going to try to take this as a goal kick. Jones was trying to take it as a goal kick, which would have been much better than the actual position right now that he's going to have to boot it out from. I think 50-50 balls in the air are going to be huge in this game. I think already in the first almost 15 we've seen that. USF is not shy about battling in the air and battling with those aerial balls, and that's going to be big for the Dons to start to grab some possession off of those 50-50 balls.
And Palmer Bank gives it to Groneveld. Here's Bohane. Working it all the way back to Lucas Jones. Will Cleary into Fletcher Bank. Over to Bohane. That'll roll past.
Yeah, it's a good one too. Stanford was calling for the corner kick. They're not going to get it. Just a little too much there on that quick 1-2 from Fletcher Bank. Also would love to see, I mean, Bohane and de Flores were kind of in the same space right there. Would love to see one of them drift a little bit wider, but just a little too much. And Fletcher Bank, you can see on the reaction, he knows it's just a little too much on that 1-2.
Stanford's been spreading the love offensively as well, just having a player who has scored a goal and provided an assist in the last 5 matches. Bohane, Fletcher Bank, de Flores, and Islam have all had 3 points in back-to-back matches this year.
11 different goal scorers as well, 14 different point contributors. You just love to see it, and that's what makes this Cardinal attack so difficult to stop. It's easy when you have one person, you know you can shut them down, and then the onus falls on everybody else's shoulders. Well, you shut one person down, somebody else is just going to get going for the Stanford Cardinal team. That one almost came for us.
Yeah, going in the stands, not too far from our setup. Fans throwing it right back on the pitch. We've talked about how this is the #1 team in the country, this hosting Stanford Cardinal. 3 straight weeks they've held the top spot. Also back in week 3. The only team in men's college soccer to hold that #1 spot in consecutive weeks this season. It's pretty impressive.
You called it the home of college soccer here. Most likely, I'm guessing, referencing the women's side being ranked 2nd in the nation. It's been a good year for Stanford Cardinal soccer for sure.
3rd straight year that they have reached that #1 spot. In the top 10 in RPI as well, which is obviously a factor as we head to the home stretch of not only ACC play, but moving along to the NCAA tournament. Close opportunity there. Some business to take care of until then.
That's a beautiful ball in from Zach Bohane. That left foot is just pure magic sometimes. And I mentioned the Stanford Cardinal team really love to get those crosses off and get in the box, cause some chaos. That's how they've been really successful. They do it again right there. Now on the other side, it's going to be Palmer Bank. They've scored off of this long throw of his before. It's difficult to do, but they've done it before.
Long throw in. Right into the hands of Lucas Jones. Running it down is Palmer Bank.
I mean, that's some hustle. That's Palmer Bank who just took the throw almost in the corner,
Yeah.
And he's running back for that quick punt. I like the idea, though, from Jones. He's getting the ball out of his hands quickly. He's finding Raphael, who, even though he was double-teamed, it was a 2v1 in favor of the Stanford Cardinal. He can chase that down. If he gets it on the ball, maybe he can hold it, wait for some players to help out. I like that idea from the goalkeeper of the Dons.
Work it back all the way to Schnebley. Beeson putting some pressure on here.
Yeah, it's good pressure from Beeson, too. You can see the angle he takes. He's just keeping Rowan Schnebley on that one side, and that's what you have to do with this Cardinal team. You have to make sure that their attack is coming at you where you want it to come from. You can't let them swing the ball and switch the ball too much. Otherwise, you're going to end up going from side to side the whole game.
Well, Cleary trying to clear Maldonado, but nicely done.
That was beautiful by Maldonado. I don't love this decision to just boot it all the way up to Rafael. You finally get possession in the midfield, in the center midfield, that is. Maybe pull it back. Maybe we'll even find Jones, your keeper, to really just recycle and reset. This is going to be a long game for USF if they just continue to boot it forward and then play defense.
Bohane runs it down, near side corner. Trying to reset. Into the box. Here's Bank. Over to Chow. Now on the far side, back into the box. Bounces right in front of Jones. He knocks it down. 4 shots now on the day for the Stanford Cardinal.
So far, no saves recorded for Jones, which is interesting. Again, that's kind of to what Jeremy Gunn was speaking about. Like, we can cause a ton of chaos in the box, but maybe it's not recorded as a shot. Maybe it's not even forcing a save, but there's still opportunities.
There's Bohane once again. Don's clear it out. Hustle there from Tanconi Gradius. Whistle's blown, some contact.
It looks like we're going to have a conversation with both players. Both players asking our center referee, Brad Church, to pull a card out on the other one. So a conversation with both of them seems warranted. Mentioned it's going to be a long game for USF, though, if they just continue to try to boot it and find their players up top. Yes, you have talent. Yes, you have Beeson and Rafael, who by themselves can probably outrun a couple of defenders who can find themselves on the ball. But what I'd love to see is in those long balls, can Beeson and Rafael get themselves on the ball and then hold it up? I want to see a little more possession coming from this USF side, which is obviously easier said than done. But it is the way to stay in this game.
Pass intercepted there by the Cardinal. Here's Fletcher Bank with the quick throw-in. Cardinal have controlled possession for the most part so far in this first half. Nearly 20 minutes in. Pim works it back to Partal, who's leading the team in assists this season.
Pim and Partal together, 2 freshmen playing in that center midfield, have just been absolutely huge. You mentioned the assists for Partal, and 6 assists. Granted, it's just 11 games, so you're averaging over an assist per game if you're Pim, or excuse me, if you're Partal and then Pim. 3 goals on the year, and they add they're very different in their style of play, the two of them, but they add such a beautiful combination and a beautiful presence to this squad. For Partal, he's more of that classic number 6, that classic holding center midfielder, and Pim, he's going to play more of that box-to-box, that classic number 8, and he's going to get forward a little bit more, and they complement each other just so well. The fact that they're both freshmen and they've both performed like this already in their career, it's going to be fun to watch them for the next 3 years.
Some freshman flavor definitely impacting this Cardinal team this season. Of course, you have the leadership like the captain, Zach Bohane, Will Cleary. But Pim, Partal, along with Tomo Allen, also 3 freshmen starting in the same game at one point this season. That happened for the first time since 2022. I mentioned the Cardinal have 3 straight shutouts. They're riding a season-high 5-game win streak. It would be, if they were able to hold the Dons to a clean sheet here, the 4th straight shutout for the first time since 2017. So just taking a look at what that defense could potentially result in here tonight.
You mentioned the win streak, also an 8-game unbeaten streak if we're counting the draw against San Jose State.
Yep.
So they have not lost since the ACC opener. They were at Louisville, lost 1-0 there. That was on September 5th.
Stanford team that was picked tied 5th in the ACC preseason poll as well. Now first in the standings. A couple of points ahead of second place. They were picked as that one goes over the goal. Behind Clemson, Wake Forest, Pitt, and Duke, and they were tied with SMU.
It's funny, you look at the standings now, also Clemson sitting in second place, Virginia in third, but Louisville, the only team that have beat Stanford in the ACC, all the way down in 14th place out of 15. Just funny how it can work sometimes. USF, on the other hand, they were picked to finish tied for 4th.
Yep.
They're currently in 4th right now.
They are.
But the conference arguably means more for USF than it does for Stanford. And hear me out on this one. Obviously, the conference means a lot no matter what period. At the end, you always want to take the conference. However, the ACC does have a conference tournament that all teams get into on the men's side for soccer in the ACC. For USF, there is no conference tournament in the West Coast Conference. And last year, it was just the team that won the conference that got the bid. There were no at-large bids whatsoever. And so that makes it feel, especially with 3 ranked teams nationally in this conference outside of USF, it feels all that more important to try to get that win in the conference, to try to get a bid to the NCAAs. Feels like the only path to do so.
Yeah, despite finishing second in the WCC last year, which was a program high since the championship in 2017, they were not able to make an appearance in the NCAA tournament. You're right, and that is after having 35 appearances overall in their history. They've been to 9 college cups, 6 national championships. They're 4th nationally, with 4 of those being NCAA championships. Of course, the last one was in 1980, but just a very historic program on top of having some current success. So it is helpful for them if they can try to finish higher. But the WCC tournament, to your point, they will be adding for the first time next season, the 2026-2027 academic school year, a conference tournament for men's soccer, women's soccer, and softball, which they previously did not have.
Some might have been shocked last year, as you mentioned, that they didn't get the bid to the tournament. San Diego, that one team out of the WCC that did get a bid to the tournament. Actually, they were ranked 10th in the nation. They made it to the round of 16, lost to the eventual victors, Vermont, who won the entirety of the NCAA tournament.
Yep.
Not a bad way to go down. If you're going to go down, it might as well be to the team that wins it all.
To the champs, that's right. Cardinal finished 7th in the ACC in its first year in the conference. They had some big road wins at then number 2 Clemson and number 23 Notre Dame, as well as UVA. They were number 16 in the overall seeding for the NCAA tournament. Ended the year ranked, their final ranking, at number 13. They have the three-peat from 2015 to 2017 with the national championships. 7 college cups. The last one they were in was 2019. There's Raphael. Heading it back up. Tinconi Gradius moves it back to Schnebley. A little over halfway through here in the first half.
Just a miscontrol there from Will Cleary, the right back and captain here on the Stanford squad, and might feel like just a throw-in, but 20 minutes to play in this half, still plenty of time. This is feeling like a big moment for USF to possibly get some possession. It's been in their attacking half for a couple of minutes now. What can we do with it?
Cleared out again. Maldonado getting ready, and he'll pass it off to Matisse Chrétien. The throw in. Some physicality there in the corner as that's cleared out by Bohane. De Flores running it down. as that rolls out, and we have a man down for the Dons.
Yeah, that was Smith. It was a great battle, and you could hear him scream when he went down. Never what you want to hear or see. Smith and de Flores chasing it down together. Looks like it was Palmer Bank who came in at the end for a little 1v1 50-50 battle with Smith as he goes down, so we'll hope for the best here. Smith was turning on the Jets for sure. Shane de Flores definitely not a slow player on the Stanford Cardinal team. Smith over there outrunning him. This three-back's done a great job so far for the Dons. It looks like Smith is up on his feet. He's limping off, but on his feet.
Being on the feet, definitely a positive sign. Some applause from the fans here as he gets up. Ryland Smith was all WCC honorable mention last season, made the freshman team in the WCC the year prior. Started every single game last year in 2024.
Yeah, I was going to say, you look at his career, there's just one game that he played in that he didn't start in his career. 46 games played, 45 games started. And if we do not see him re-enter, to lose somebody like that is always huge, but to lose somebody like that who's part of a three-back, not to harp on the three-back, but as in any defensive line, it is a delicate balance, and mostly with defensive lines, a lot of the work as we get word of the substitution. Go ahead.
Jamison Raby will come in. That's number 25, the freshman out of San Ramon, California, in for the Dons.
It's always a delicate balance. A lot of work that's done in practice with back lines is just shifting together. What happens if the ball's over here? Where do we shift? If the ball's here, where do we shift? So it's just having to get into that flow in a game like this at Kagan. It's a difficult job.
It's cleared out by the Dons there. Fletcher Bank working on the throw-in. Less than 20 minutes remain here in the first half. Here's Cleary trying to thread the needle. Dons take over. There's Palmer Bank. All the way back to Schnebley. To the far side from Schnebley. Flores feeding it to Fletcher Bank in the far corner. Cross into the box. Deflected, out of play.
That's a good sequence by the Cardinal. It's starting to look more and more open. They kind of had their way in that attack, working it up the middle and then out to Fletcher Bank. That's exactly what they want. He led the team in assists last year, and that's exactly why, off of crosses from that left-hand side. And this is kind of what I was talking about earlier on in this half, where if you're going to let Stanford have possession this entire time, it's going to tire you out. If you're just going to chase and send balls long when you have the ball, it's going to exhaust you. And that's exactly what happens. It starts to open up a little bit more on defense.
Some pressure here from the Dons. There's Chris Maldonado. Cross. There's Schnebley. Saw some pressure being put on by Jagger Judkins. As some of that forward movement. That's number 17, the sophomore from Tacoma, Washington, for the Dons.
Well, that was a great ball from Maldonado. It forced Schnebley to make a decision. Do I come off of my line or do I not? It was basically no man's land. Schnebley does a good job making a quick decision and coming out hard.
Here's Will Cleary. That's off Maldonado and cleared out by the Dons. Throw in from Pym. Deflected. Now here's Raphael. Pym retakes control. Tenconi Gradius. As de Flores chases it down, but it'll roll past the end line.
Raphael a little frustrated there, playing in that forward position in the 3-5-2 alongside Beeson. And you can see his frustration. He was calling for a foul right there against Pim. As we see Jones sends everybody forward. This is where those aerial duels are going to become more and more important. Can you win possession off of your own goal kick?
Lucas Jones leading the WCC with an .800 save percentage. Tied for the lead with 6 shutouts this season. 6 of the 7 in total for the Dons. There's Cleary, works it back to Tenconi Gradius. All the way back to Schnebly. Goal kick as Bohane and Maldonado go at it. Partal. Bohane's on it. Head to head with Maldonado there in the throw in here. Cleary will take it.
It's a funny dichotomy right now, Jenna, because it does feel like Stanford are in full control of this game with their possession and their opportunities. And then, you know, you look at the scoreboard and it's actually just, it's still 0-0. It's only 5 shots, no saves recorded on either end. So they haven't really forced Jones into a save either. But then you think of the other side of it, well, this is a very familiar place to be for the Stanford Cardinal. More than half of their goals, 2/3 of their goals really coming in the second half. And that 2-0 win against Pitt that they were coming off of, both goals came in the second half. So you might look at this and think, oh, well, maybe some momentum might shift towards USF if they can take this into halftime 0-0. It's actually quite the opposite. Stanford are very comfortable in this position.
Palmer Bank in the 50th minute for the first goal of that Pitt victory. Trevor Islam, his team-leading 6th goal in the 75th minute. Islam actually assisted Palmer Bank on his goal, and then Fletcher Bank assisted Trevor Islam on his goal. So the Bank twins putting money in the bank, you could say.
It's nice. We get to use that a lot, don't we?
They make it fun.
They make it fun.
For Stanford, number 14, Liam Doyle.
Liam Doyle comes in,
Allen.
the senior, and the freshman Tomo Allen, and the other freshman Jude Stone, all coming in for the Cardinal. Stone actually one of the goal scorers in that 2-0 victory in the exhibition earlier prior to the start of the season, as the Cardinal and the Dons went head-to-head. Quick throw in from the Dons. The whistle. So you mentioned Stanford outshooting San Francisco 5-1 so far in this one. They actually outshot Pitt in their last one 14-1. That one was a shot on goal, but it was the first time that they had only allowed 1 shot since they played USF back in 2021.
Wow.
Fletcher Bank running it down as it rolls out. Under 13 minutes left here in the first half.
Listen, I know I've been harping on USF getting more possession, but we also have to give credit to this defense. Possession's the next layer. You can only get to that layer if your defense has been absolutely shut down, and they absolutely have been, mentioning no saves having needed to be recorded by Jones in goal.
There's Bohane at the top of the box. He goes down. There's the whistle.
Wow. I stopped talking because when Bohane gets the ball at his feet at the top of the box, truly anything can happen. You're kind of waiting for him to pull the trigger because he's got such a shot and he can score from outside that box. That distance is actually most comfortable for him, but instead he gets in the box, he goes down, and the referee will review this. Obviously, It's important to note the call on the field was a penalty kick.
The previous play is under review.
The officials will take another look at this one, but to know what the initial call is always important as well. Mac Herman midseason watch list, also on the Top Door Soccer midseason top 100 at number 12, 5 spots up from his preseason mark at 17. Here he goes. Cross in, hits the crossbar, just over. What an opportunity for the Cardinal, but the Dons stay safe.
You know how I mentioned that's a great distance for him to shoot from? That was filthy. You can see the curve on that ball. I mean, so unlucky. It didn't just hit the crossbar, it hit the bottom part of the crossbar and it bounced down. Nevertheless, what a shot from Zach Bohane.
7 shots on the day now for the Cardinal as we have less than 12 minutes remaining here in the first half. They've still held USF to just the 1 shot so far. Only 1 of the 7 shots have been on target thus far. Here's Will Cleary. Back to Jude Stone, over to Groneveld. A little too long on that pass from Palmer Bank. Here's the throw-in. Bohane. In the air there. And the whistle.
Yeah, it looked like the referee might have been waiting to see if there was advantage, but Jude Stone very clearly got a nice elbow to the face and went down. Popped up faster than I would have with an elbow to the face like that.
Another opportunity for the Cardinal. Here's Pym. Here's the cross. Goes long. Bohane trying to run it down. There's Cleary. Cleared out by the Dons. There's Palmer Bank. That's going to go out into the stands.
That looked like just a miscommunication on the runs. You can see Pym just kind of trying to sort it out. The runs on went near post, the ball went far post, and you can see Groneveld, Tenconi Gradius, and Pym talking about it there. Just a miscommunication, but great work by Bohane to track that down and keep it in bounds.
Seen some speed in play so far in this one. There's a throw in from Katian. Groneveld. Tenconi Gradius.
Yeah, under pressure there. That's not the ball Tenconi Gradius wants to play. He just got his foot on it. Opportunity now for the Dons.
Judkins works it back.
Great job once again by this Dons front line to put the back line of the Stanford Cardinal under pressure.
Stone using his head. Afsari. Cleary works it again. Feeling the mounting pressure as we tick down below 9 minutes remaining here in the first half.
Again, that's probably, what, the 6th header in a row we mentioned these aerial duels. Stanford seems to always come out on the other side of them right now.
There's Groneveld working it all the way back to Schnebley. Surveying. The goal kick to Bohane. There's Tomo Allen to Cleary. Cleary and Bohane. Over to Pym. Bohane once again into the box. Cleared out. Good defensive move there from the Dons.
Yeah, that was a beautiful ball, a beautiful read, but even better defending and a better read. That was Christian, left center back in this back three.
Junior out of Canada.
Chrétien, excuse me.
Corner kick, Stanford.
Corner kick now for the Cardinal. That is the first corner that we have seen so far.
Yeah, surprising for sure. And This is a huge opportunity for the Cardinal anytime there's a set piece, specifically a corner kick.
Captain Zach Bohane lining up. Headed up and over.
Unclear how Grunewald was able to get his head on the end of that, but he did. Just a lot of bodies in the box there, and well defended again by the Dons. Mentioned that 3-back can be locked down if it's executed well, and so far the Dons have executed it beautifully. Mentioned the 7 clean sheets on the season for this squad. That doesn't just come by accident. This is a well-oiled machine defensively. And out of all things in the game of soccer, that, in my opinion, takes the most work, the most amount of time in practice to really lock down. It does not come easily, and it doesn't come just from playing well with somebody next to you. It comes from a lot of work and a lot of communication.
A couple new Dons on the pitch right now, including Owen Benson, Oscar Harris, Zane Alafranchi. Works it out to Maldonado. There's Benson. Quick throw in here from the Cardinal, Cleary. Trying to make a decision. Finestone gives it right back to him. Tengoni Gradius back to Grunewald, who goes back to Schnebly.
You can see the pressure here. Schnebly under pressure. That's great work by the front line.
5.5 minutes left. Throw in for the Dons from Katian. Pressure from Bohane. Defense for the Dons once again. There's Fletcher Bank running it down. Little trickle out of play. Under 5 minutes. We talked about how this really is, in a lot of ways, a game of momentum. What do both teams need to do to try to gain that momentum heading into the second half here in the last few minutes?
Well, for the Cardinal, I think it's very simple. It's get a shot on target.
Jones on it there. But here's an opportunity from Cleary, and he will clear the crossbar.
We mentioned for the Cardinal, it's all well and good, and Jeremy Gunn spoke to loving having opportunities, creating chaos in the box, but at a certain point, you have to put the keeper under pressure. You have to test him. You have to get a shot on goal. And you mentioned just how many shots on target the Stanford Cardinal have, just one in this first 45. And when you compare that to just how much the ball's been in their attacking half, just how many opportunities they've had in and around the 18, it's just simply not good enough in terms of efficiency of even shots on goal. So for the Stanford Cardinal, it's that. For the Dons, look, you've got this defense on lock. Now it's how do we translate that into some offensive possession on the other side. And I'm not saying you're going to outpossess the Stanford Cardinal. That might not happen. But instead of sending it long and trying to have your two forwards run onto it, why don't we can send it long and try to have them hold it up, maybe play some hold-up play. They've had some time in the middle. I think that they have more time than they think they do have.
There's Doyle. That's cut off. Don's defense holds up.
So for the Dons, it's in those moments where they get on the ball. How can they find the open player? How can they get that ball out of pressure and just keep possession for a second?
High to the back post. Punched out. Stanford putting some pressure here in the last remaining minutes. Tengoni Gradius into the box, caught by Jones. Jones the goal kick. Some contact there. Pim trying to create some forward movement.
Even that there's been a difference. The Dons haven't been able to go quickly on free kicks and find the open player in the center.
Here's Cleary into the box. Cleared out once again. Cardinal not done yet. There's Palmer Bank and the save from Lucas Jones.
What a save. We'll call it a double save for Jones right there, but so much better for the Cardinal. I mentioned just put it on target. Well, they do so twice, and it almost hits the back of the net. Excellent work from Jones in goal right there.
Double-digit shots now for the Cardinal. Now they're second on target. Couple of saves on the night for Lucas Jones now. He's been working hard between the posts.
Absolutely, and it might not register in the stats, but he has been working hard. He's been coming off of his line. He's been doing it all, and he's been positioned just so perfectly every time. The junior out of San Francisco, California.
There's Will Cleary. That's cleared out.
That's been working now for the Cardinal, getting Cleary up. I mean, they like to send their outside backs forward. We see Palmer Bank getting forward on the left-hand side. We usually see Cleary getting up on the right-hand side as well. We haven't seen it as much in this half. In the past minute or so, we've seen him get forward twice, and it's created a lot for the Cardinal.
Under a minute left. The goal kick coming from Jones. Past midfield, there's Tenconi Gradius. Maldonado, here's Bohane. Trying to connect. Tomo Allen, and that's cleared out.
Unbelievable, Duggan right there. What a slide. Perfectly timed, perfectly read.
The senior Matthew Duggan digging in, but here's Bohane again. Crossed in, just past the right post.
Yeah, and Jones is going to be upset. He's saying that he got interfered with. You can't interfere with the keeper like that, but Jones came out perfectly once again off of his line. Again, perfectly positioned and well played.
The last seconds tick down as the first half is in the books. We are scoreless here between the #1 Stanford Cardinal and the visiting San Francisco Dons. The Cardinal out shooting the Dons 12-1, 2 of those on target.
Off in the first half with an injury, and it was number 25, Jameson Raby, who re-entered, and he will remain in this game, number 25, at that right center back within that 3 back for the Dons, and it's the Dons to start off with control. Alafrangi will take this throw. That's a good turn from Rafael, who goes down in the box trying to draw the foul and the call. He won't get it. Raby will see it out. Lafrangi once again to take it. You can see the Stanford Cardinal really sliding over, condensing that space. Not a lot of space to play in if you're the Dons. That's a beautiful move. Afsari has just been everywhere. Caleb Afsari, a junior midfielder out of Folsom, California. Played in all 12 games, started 11. So far, you look at the stats, it's 0 goals, 0 assists, but that doesn't really indicate what he's been able to do for this squad. He plays in that attacking center mid role, that true in that classic number 10, and he's been everywhere. Wearing number 21 now, standing over the ball. It would be him with the right foot, and it would be Rafael with the left foot. Free kick for the Dons early on now in this second half. It's Rafael. He'll put it into the box. Coming out is Schnebly. He'll punch it. Not all the way out. It falls to Raby. It's a beautiful deflection there. It's Tenconi Gradius who got his foot on it. Stop that. Going inside the 6. So 2 minutes in, and it's been all USF, Jenna.
And the Stanford defense, too. We talk about their offense because how can we not? They're in the top 10 nationally, which has helped propel them to that #1 spot overall in the rankings. But, you know, we're seeing a glimpse as to how they've had 3 straight shutouts so far, going for their 4th potentially here today.
Long throw into the box, taken care of. Once again, it's the Dons on top of it. There's a battle in the middle. It's won by Maldonado. And finally, it'll go the direction of the Stanford Cardinal. A beautiful start to the second half here for the Dons. We mentioned didn't have a ton of possession in that first half, and they start with a good portion of it and a good bout of possession in their attacking half nonetheless.
One thing about the Dons as well, you know, yes, you're going not only up against the #1 team in the country, but you're doing it in their house. But I have not seen any intimidation from them. This is a rivalry local to the Bay Area that has existed now for over 50 years. They've played each other plenty of times. And USF knows what it takes to potentially beat them, right? You said overall, they own the all-time record. The last 2 meetings in particular, we talked about how they upset Stanford, who was top 10 in both of those instances the last couple of years. You can't sleep on the Dons.
Absolutely not. That's Fletcher Bank that wins the corner kick for the Stanford Cardinal, just the second of the game, the second for the Card. They've played each other a lot, and also generally haven't really mentioned how many times these teams play each other in exhibition matches.
Yes.
So a really nice relationship between the two programs as well, who usually start their seasons off with an exhibition match against each other.
Did so again this year, and we talked about the fact that Stanford did take that 2-0 here at Kagan Stadium.
Partal with the ball into the box. Once again, it's Jones off the line to punch it out. Chow will try the one-timer. That'll fall out. Once again, Jones off of his line and all over it, and not enough can be said about how great Lucas Jones has been tonight. Dons will play out of the back, trying to find Alfranji down the right wing, and it might come back the other way. De Flores chasing it down. He'll put it into the box, one touch. Bohane heading it back and away towards the penalty spot. Exactly what he should do. Nobody's there. Cardinal keep possession. Fletcher Bank will find Bohane once again. The lefty out on the right flank. He'll cut it inside. Bohane with the left. And that is why Zach Bohane plays on the right-hand side. Long ball, and you love that from Jones. Stanford. It's interesting, when you have a corner kick, usually the name of the game is to leave one more defender back than attacking players. Right there, it would have been 2v2. It would have been the 2 center backs for Stanford against the 2 forwards for USF, and that's a matchup if you're USF, you like that. Another aerial battle. It's one, and Chow trying to flick it on. Fletcher Bank running into the defender. Nothing to it at the end of the day. Mentioned Lucas Jones in goal, a junior, San Francisco, California, transfer from Manhattan College after last year. This year averaging just .89 goals against. He's got 32 saves coming into today. He had 3 saves in his 90 minutes at Santa Clara, their most recent match, where they took it 2-0. We mentioned those 7 clean sheets as well.
That goals against average in the top 3 in the WCC. 4th in the WCC for goals against overall with 8. And yeah, leading in saving percentage as well with 800 so far. And that was coming into this game.
Only 2 saves recorded. 3 now with the one that he just got recorded. But he's been much busier than that, as we've said. He'll take this goal kick now for the Dons. Dons able to win possession and find some space. Alfranji, he'll play it forward, and he'll find the feet of Raphael. Raphael in the corner. Alfranji trying to put it into the middle. He does so, and chaos in the box. And that's some last-ditch defending as Alfonso Tenconi-Gordias comes in to save the day. But once again, it was Afsari, we've mentioned, has just been everywhere, and he was there for the Dons, who win their first corner kick of the evening, and Raphael will take it. He'll take it with the left. It'll be an in-swinger. We're going to put pressure on Schnebly here. Here's the ball in. Headed away by Tenconi Gradias. Put back in. Tenconi Gradias once again to clear it out with the header. Chow able to get his left foot on that, and here's Fletcher Bank. Fletcher is overlapped by Pim. It's a good job there defensively. Salomis to chase it down, and it will be the other Bank brother, but the Palmer variety. It's got a long throw. The Cardinal have utilized it already in this match, and they'll utilize it again. Palmer and Fletcher Bank play on the same side, so if you're hearing that name a lot, you're not confused. There's two Bank brothers. They play on the left side. There's the long ball in. Back post now. Bohane's there. So is Grunewald. It's headed out. Chow is there to scoop it up. Cardinal bench won a late slide, but advantage will be called, and almost testing Jones there was Bohane.
Feel the tension rising here in the second half. A lot of pressure was built up in that first half on both sides, but a little bit more coming offensively from USF than we saw previously. Stanford, you can tell they've sort of picked up the tempo a little bit here in the second half, turning on the jets here and there.
We've seen Shane de Flores and Fletcher Bank, who's now playing up top, change sides. Mentioned the tension, you certainly can feel it, and it's because the Dons have mounted quite a few attacks. That was Beeson. Beeson! Just wide. Grunewald leans over Beeson, who's on the ground. That's what's causing this scuffle right now. So we will see what ensues from our referees. What an attempt there from Beeson, outside of the right foot. Just misses that far post. Our center referee, Ian Brad Church, certainly has a lot to deal with.
Nearly the sixth goal of the season for Beeson.
Beeson's still down. Certainly it does feel like some words were exchanged right there. No matter, referee still sorting it out. Beeson seems to be up on his feet, which is what truly matters most. And Beeson, we mentioned, leading scorer for the USF Dons. That's exactly who you want on the ball in that exact situation. Talk about tensions rising.
Yeah, we talked about the physicality that comes with it.
And the referee's going to take a look at this.
The previous play is under review.
Not a huge surprise. Number one, it was a scoring opportunity. Number two, it was in the box. Number three, there was a lot of after whatever the word is for it. So all of that will be looked at, Jenna.
Yeah, I think it makes sense here to take another look, and the tensions are rising. You can feel that as fans. We can feel it here on the broadcast, but of course the officials can feel that as well, trying to make sure that they take an extra look if they can. They want to get the call right as much as anyone else.
Certainly keeping our officials busy. Mentioned Brad Church is our center referee. Our AR1 is Levy Rippey. Almost looked like we were about to have an answer there. Our many officials, as both teams will regroup, reset. It's been an eventful first 10 minutes of this second half, and this second half has felt different than the first half, and that really is because the Dons have come out in full force. It almost feels like maybe this was the game plan. Sit back, make sure we get this defense locked down, and then the second half come out strong and come out on fire, and they certainly have done so.
And that's always one of the interesting parts to me, is what are the adjustments that come after halftime? You obviously have the game plan going into it. Do you think about the second half? Yes, you do a little bit ahead of time, but you have to see how things unfold in that first half and make adjustments accordingly. USF has seemed to flip that switch in a positive direction that they're looking for.
Our referee comes out and says there's nothing there, no foul. And it will be Rowan Schnebly who will jog over and restart us from a goal kick. Stanford in those black uniforms with the pink numbers, as Jenna mentioned earlier on in the broadcast. USF in those away whites with the green shoulders. Stanford will look to play out of the back once again. Grunewald will send it long. Headed on by Fletcher Bank. Coming in is Chow. Chow dispossessed by Raby. That's great work by the freshman. Bohane working on the right side. He'll cut it back. Here's Cleary. Pym now working on the right side. He's got options. He'll use Bohane as one of them. Bohane at the top of the 18 with that special left foot of his. He'll lay it off, and Cleary with the cross. It'll be deflected and out of bounds. And that's been what's so good about this USF defense as well, really keeping the ball out of the middle when they can.
I talked about them not being intimidated coming in here to Kagan Stadium and just how dominant the Stanford team is when they play at home. Over 100 wins under Jeremy Gunn here at home. He's the first coach to have done that. It's a tough place to play, but those 7 shutouts we keep talking about, 4 of them having come on the road, for example, they are used to going after it when they're not playing at home either. They've had 3 ranked non-conference opponents, and all of them they have played on the road, including Stanford this season.
Corner kick is won by the Stanford Cardinal, also been tested in the WCC, as we mentioned. San Diego ranked 12th, Oregon State ranked 21st. They've got Portland coming up. We'll get into the schedule later on, but they've got Portland, who's ranked 5th in the nation right now, coming up. This will be Joshua Partal, the freshman center midfielder, who will take it for the Stanford Cardinal with the right foot. Alex Chow is a short option. Partal will take his time. It's been a busy day for Jones in goal for the Dons. We'll see if it's another busy day. Right now, bouncing in front of the box, in front of the goal, and not cleared out yet. It'll fall to Partal. He'll put it back in. Headed on. You can see the deflection there, and Jones, once again, is there to save the day.
Talk about how Partal is a team-high 6 assists.
Partal to De Flores. De Flores cuts it end line. De Flores near post! And that was almost an own goal, saved in the last-ditch defending somehow. And we're going to have a stoppage of play. Another Don is down. Can only hope for the best, and we won't speculate. We need to discuss what an incredible play that was, with your body facing towards your own net. It is so difficult to get the ball going a different direction when all of your momentum is going towards your own goal, and you have to somehow make sure the ball doesn't go in that direction. That's incredible work as the athletic training staff will jog out
this Dons team.
Well, Stanford putting the Dons under pressure right now. Partal once again near post, headed out. Top of the box, a bicycle kick. That was Groeneveld, the center back, trying to recreate what Jasmine Ike did just about a week ago, that we had the pleasure of seeing, Jenna.
Yeah, on the women's side, Jasmine Ike getting that opening goal against number 1 Virginia at the time for the number 3 Stanford. They've since moved up to number 2. Probably the coolest goal I've ever seen in person.
Absolutely. A perfectly executed bicycle kick.
Yeah.
Groeneveld trying to equal that. You love the effort. Raby's going to play it down the line. Here's Judkins freshly into the match. Doherty will control, and once again you can see how the Dons just get stuck on this right-hand side. The Cardinal doing a good job of not allowing that switch, but that's what you want, that next level for the Dons to open everything else up. Can you find that open left side? And everybody's stuck over here on the right. Easier said than done, certainly, against this organized Stanford defense. Raby will send it forward, and he'll get a redo. Maybe this time to Raphael. That's a good one, too. Judkins will lay it off. Here's the cross in, headed out by Tenconi Gradius. Stanford Cardinal will come back the other way. Bowen on the right. Long ball. That's a nice switch over to Alex Chow, who will settle. Here's the shot. Another beautiful save. Once again in goal. It's Jones who comes up big. That was Pim who took it from distance and forced Jones into the save, but he was up to the task.
4th save of the day for Lucas Jones. Actually 5th now. Add it to the tally.
Headed on. That's not bad from Beeson, trying to find Raphael in behind. Raphael gets himself on the ball. And that'll be a foul against Pim. The crowd doesn't like it. Pim disagrees. But a foul coming in from behind. He stuck that leg in from behind on Raphael. That's what the call is going to be. And this is a big opportunity now for USF. This is an interesting distance, Jenna. It feels a little too far to shoot, but it has to be a very soft textured ball if you're going to send it into the box. With all the runners right now, it looks like it will be a ball into the box.
Something USF has done a little bit more here in the second half is also just create chaos, whatever that looks like.
Perfect moment to do so right now. Raphael will stand over it with the left. It will be Judkins who will stand over it with the right, wearing number 17. 3 men in the wall for the Cardinal. It'll be Raphael with the left. Into the box. Headed out, and it'll be a corner kick for the Dons. And that's all right. If you can't create the chaos, you win a corner kick. And it looks like Afsari will jog over and take it for USF.
Still a productive outcome in that situation.
Absolutely. And Afsari, who has truly been everywhere working in that true number 10 position, now will take it with the right. Here's the ball in, far post. On the back post was Duggan. Just a little too far for him, and then too much on it for him to chase down. The center back will get back quickly. But that's exactly who you want on the back post. Your tall center back, just a little too much. USF will slide over and try to make this space small for the Stanford Cardinal. Palmer Bank with a big throw down the line. A good turn by his twin brother Fletcher. Can't chase it down. Duggan will clear. Again, that's that kind of moment where there's a little more time in the middle of the field than USF might think. Molinado now finds himself on it. He's dispossessed. After all of that, it'll result in a Stanford Cardinal throw-in. Long ball down the line. Duggan chasing along with de Flores for the Cardinal. It'll be sent out by Duggan. Safe play by the center back, and the Cardinal will go quickly. Cleary. Bohane. Bohane, here's the cross in. Jones once again. Great work from Raphael. That's some hold-up play right there by the forward. Excellent work, and now a defensive stand by the center back in Groeneveld to dispossess Raphael. What a battle between those two it's been tonight. It's good defense there on the other side. That was Beeson. We've given credit to the defense of USF, to the three-back. Maybe it's time to give some credit to the defense and the defensive work that these forwards of USF have been putting in. Not a lot of forwards like to play defense. Not a lot of forwards will play defense even if they're asked to, but these two have put in shifts tonight. And you know it has helped everybody behind them. We've got a Stanford Cardinal. It looks like de Flores is down on the far side. We're going to get a stoppage of clock as he's checked on. Well, it's worth mentioning, we've talked about how the Cardinal are no strangers to coming from behind. So we've talked about it a lot. Let's really get into these nitty-gritty details here, because some of these numbers are pretty outstanding. The Cardinal are 2-1-1 in contests in which they are trailing in the 80th minute, with 2 of those goals having come in the final 60 seconds of a match. Tomo Allen netted a 90th minute game-winning goal against Oregon State, and Alfonso Tanconi-Diaz headed home an equalizer with 36 seconds left to salvage that 2-2 draw against San Jose State. In their second ACC game against Syracuse, Trevor Islam and Fletcher Banks scored goals in the final 10 minutes to overcome a late 2-1 deficit and win 3-2 against the Orange. They haven't had to do that for a while, though. They conceded their first goal in 4 out of their first 8 matches. To concede the first goal in half of your matches at that point in the season is pretty wild. Jeremy Gunn, he was very noble when talking about that. He said, oh, let's chalk that up to just bad coaching. Just very noble for a head coach to say. But since then, they've scored first in all 5 matches. You mentioned the 3 clean sheets collected. The wins, they've only really had to come from behind once. Versus Oregon State, went up 1-0, but OSU scored 2. So technically, they had to come from behind, even though they did score first. Couple of 1-2s at the top of the box. It falls to Alex Chow. The sophomore working on the left-hand side, and he can't get through. It's a good defensive stand once again by Judkins. So disciplined, the defense of this USF Dons. And it'll be a long throw once again by Palmer Bank. Everybody will jog into the 18 and set up. Raphael still sitting at the top. Just 1 player back for the Stanford Cardinal. And now they'll send 2 back as Alex Chow jogs back. Here's the ball into the box. Sorry, tries to clear. Chasing it down is Pym. Quick 1-2 with Pym and Bohane on the right-hand side. Pym, the freshman, trying to find some space. Partal to Pym. Offside flag goes up. Good look from Partal and a good 1-2, freshman to freshman. But pretty far offside was Pym, and it will be Jones who will clear it out. USF once again absorbs the attack of the Stanford Cardinal.
Well, you mentioned Jeremy Gunn commenting on his own coaching and taking the accountability. And that has to do with the standards being so high for this program. You know, he's in his 14th season. He's looking for win number 170 since being here at Stanford. He's the program's winningest coach, in the top 10 in active D1 head coaches by winning percentage. The 3-time national championship coach, only one of 2 coaches to three-peat. The list really continues and goes on. But they have not been back to that College Cup since 2019.
Cleary inside! And that's Shane de Flores. Cleary to de Flores, senior at a senior, and the redshirt senior out of Danville, California. Breaks the draw for his 2nd of the season.
Assisted by number 15,
The captain setting it up nicely to Shane de Flores. And we talked about how that pressure that Stanford put on in the first half, we've seen it bubble up and overflow in the second. We see that once again here as they get on the board and take the lead.
Good things have been happening when Will Cleary gets all the way down the line for the Stanford Cardinal. It happens right there as well, and that has to feel good for Shane de Flores, who we mentioned at the top of this broadcast, he hadn't started since September 13th. He gets the start, he gets the goal. Shane de Flores has been working hard inside that 18. Good work from him to get in front of that USF Dons defense, mentioned for his 2nd on the year. Well, 24 minutes left, and USF has their work cut out for them, Jenna. Do you think this is going to change the flow of the game, or do you feel Stanford will just continue to push in the attack?
I would think that Stanford would continue to push on the attack, because you mentioned what their record looks like and how they compete when they're behind. but they also know how to compete and score multiple goals as well. They are 10-0-1 with multiple goals this season. They're actually 126-2-16 under head coach Gunn. Their last time they lost when they scored multiple goals was back in 2021.
Wow.
So to me, that's where they also feel pretty comfortable, right, is getting that little bit of a cushion. So I would think that they would still shoot for that.
Raphael with the corner for the Dons. Headed out, it'll fall all the way through. Chasing down is Judkins. He'll keep it in. And now it will go out. Out calls by Stanford Cardinal players. Finally, it does go out. We've got 2 USF Dons down in the 18. Athletic training staff has been busy tonight. It's been a physical game, we've mentioned. They've certainly been busy. Calm moment for both teams. Certainly the hardest time to defend, and when you're most vulnerable to conceding a goal is right after you score a goal. So that an ever important corner kick right there that the Cardinal give up right after scoring. USF looking to capitalize. They couldn't do so, and now we'll take a break. That was Raby on the ground, still sitting there at the penalty spot. Hopefully everything okay now, back on his feet. Raby in for the injured Smith, who came off earlier. USF perhaps wearing thin now at that right center back role.
Luckily, everyone we have seen get in a tussle or hit the deck has gotten back up to their feet in this match. That's, as we've said before, the #1 priority, of course.
Absolutely. It's always a sigh of relief when you see somebody get up on their feet and walk off under their own volition. And looks like Judkins will slide back into that right center back role, which will bring Raphael back into his former position of right mid. And we will get a quick substitution.
Ryan Firestone.
It will be number 3, Ryan Firestone. He will get his 3rd appearance on the season. Chaos in the middle, sent forward. You can feel the air kind of been taken out of the game right now. That's exactly what the Cardinal want. You could feel the intensity mounting, and now you can kind of feel it falling. Pim. Nice chip ball to Bank. Bank, can he keep it in? That's good work defensively. Chrétien will send it forward. Now just a miscommunication. Beeson wanted it further on the line. Beeson doing some good defensive work on Grunewald. He's now chasing it down for Schnebly. Almost gets his foot in there. Firestone playing defense on the goal scorer, De Flores, who will lay it off. Big collision on the far side. Play on, says our referee. That's good work in the middle. That was off Sorry. Spinning, finding Raphael, who now finds it at his feet. And the switch is almost complete for the Dons. Now it is. Chasing is Judkins. Judkins. Raphael back to Judkins. That's good defensive cover. Alfonso Tenconi-Gordias coming in for the cover on the Cardinal. Now he's grabbing his ankle. We'll have another player down, and a stoppage of clock as Tenconi-Gordias is down. It felt very flowy at in the first 10 minutes of this half, Jenna. A lot of back and forth, both teams kind of finding their groove, and there's been a lot of stoppages, and now it will be Pim who is awarded a yellow card. Pim was nowhere near that tackle, so we can only assume that was for something said to the referee. It's been kind of choppy, a lot of stoppages. That'll impact the flow. When it's kind of choppy like that, do you think that that benefits USF or Stanford more?
I would say probably Stanford at this point, because they have the advantage on the scoreboard. I mean, they're the type that they can create their own momentum. That is something that we have seen them do all season long, and something they did to get that goal on the board in the first place. For USF, when they start to get in their flow and in their rhythm, that's when they start to get more dangerous. But with more stoppages, it's harder to maintain that in that situation.
Another stoppage, another foul is called. Stanford Cardinal will take this and take their time to take it as well. It looks like it'll be the two center midfielders and the two freshmen standing over it. It will not anymore as one of them exits. Alex Chow will jog over. The sophomore, Alex Chow, wearing number 20, will stand over it with the left, and it will be Partal wearing number 16 who stands over it with the right. And it will be Partal. The ball in, it's headed out. Palmer Bank there to scoop it up, try to put it back in, but once again, Jones in perfect position comes off of his line, and he'll distribute quickly now. Chrétien, Judkins. Judkins with some good work in the middle, just trying to find the feet of Raphael, is intercepted. Finally able to find the feet of Raphael, who's double teamed, and he's found himself double teamed quite a bit tonight anytime he's got the ball. Finally helping it over with the switch. Maldonado, who's been quiet on the left side this half, busy on the left side in that first half. Firestone went to take it quickly. He's going to be paused. We'll redo as USF have a couple of subs here. 20 minutes to play. Jenna, plenty of time, but this is just the start of a very long soccer weekend here at Kagan Stadium.
And for San Francisco, number 2, Kian Jones.
2 senior days coming up. Saturday for the women, Sunday for the men.
That's right. The number 2 Stanford Cardinal on the women's side will be hosting their senior day. Going to have some of those festivities ahead of time. They'll be playing SMU prior to the men once again returning here to Kagan Stadium on Sunday, and you'll be on that call. We'll be both on the call on Saturday.
That's right. Both teams playing SMU.
Yep.
We were actually just wondering if SMU were maybe traveling together with their men's and their women's teams since they're playing back-to-back, but it'll be a weekend against SMU for the Cardinal. Back post. That'll be a foul called, an offensive foul, if you will, as Alex Chow goes down. Looks like that was a call against Firestone. Going to the back of Alex Chow will take his time to get up. Clock is now the friend of the Stanford Cardinal, or the enemy. It depends, I guess, on how you look at it.
I mean, we've seen pressure from both sides, of course. USF more so in the second half than the first, but when you're just looking straight up at the stats, I mean, Stanford's still dominating the shot column with 19 to just 3 from USF. 6 of those 19 have been on target. USF has yet to put one on target so far in this one. So the efficiency is still slightly better on the Stanford side.
Absolutely. It's funny, you hear 0 shots on target. Doesn't quite feel right because of the pressure they've put the Stanford Cardinal under in the second half. But you think of Rowan Schnebley, hasn't really had to use his hands all that much. A couple of punches, but mainly it's been Schnebley with his feet, as he is now. He'll send it forward. Chow couldn't really get to it. Stone chasing. Dons will clear it. Both of these teams, no matter who's on the ball, just finding themselves immediately under pressure. Talking about this weekend, we mentioned senior day for the women on Saturday and senior day for the men on Sunday, both of them against SMU. For the men here, it will be that and then just one more game. And that'll be a foul in the middle of the field. Most likely a yellow card is coming as we see our referee reach into his back pocket, and there it is. Yellow card will be awarded to number 11,
Yellow card.
Maldonado.
Number 17.
Oh, excuse me. Correct that to Judkins. Coming in late there. Back to this coming weekend, we mentioned Saturday women, Sunday men. For the men here, that Sunday will be the second to last game of the season, of the regular season. The last home game, of course, of the regular season. And then they will conclude across the bay at Cal on Halloween.
For the big Classico.
Certain
Talk about a battle of the Bay. That's really
Yeah.
the battle of the Bay.
Truly. When you hear Battle of the Bay, you think San Francisco, East Bay. That's exactly what it is. For the Dons, 4 matches remain after this one. They will head home. They'll host LMU, this Sunday, and then they will head out on the road to number 5 Portland. That's going to be a massive game, not just in the West Coast Conference standings, but as a whole. Then they'll head back home. They'll host St. Mary's, and finally they'll conclude on the road at Seattle University. Here's a ball into the box for the Cardinal. Headed on by Groenevel. That's going to be a high kick.
Oof.
That was number 17, Allen, of the Stanford Cardinal. He's going to get a yellow card for that. A high kick nonetheless.
Stanford, number 17.
And that was on Alafrandri, who we actually saw have to take a beat, walk off earlier after some contact. Been put through the ringer a bit tonight.
It's been a physical match. Yeah, never fun to get a cleat to the head or cleat to the face.
And this weekend for those SMU matchups on Senior Day, both under the lights too, something a little special about that. 7 p.m. Pacific for the women on Saturday. 6 p.m. I believe Pacific Sunday for the men.
Bohane with the cross. Chow back post. Cleared off of the line once again. Jude Stone is there to pick it up. The attack's not over yet. Here's Stone. Stone with the ball into the box. Headed on, and once again, Jones is there to make the save.
Lucas Jones, my goodness. We've talked about in some of the past matches how they do have a Dawn of the game, a player of the game, if you will, for this USF team. Even if the result sticks as to what we're seeing right now on the scoreboard, I might say Lucas Jones deserved that honor.
I couldn't agree more. Alex Chow will take this with the left. Once again, the attack has not quite been stifled. Now it will be cleared all the way up and out. Palmer Bank alone will try to head it on. Intercepted and well read. Salmonese tries to play Raphael down the left-hand side. He's dispossessed, and the Dons will opt to slow it down, get everybody forward. Looks like it will be number 2, Jones. Kean Jones will chalk over to take this throw. Senior midfielder out of San Francisco, California. Went to Sacred Heart Cathedral Prep. Anybody from the Bay probably knows that school. Jones with a big throw into the box. Headed on into the middle, and Schnebley is there. Cardinal comfortable playing from behind, comfortable playing with the lead too. We've talked about they seem to know how to just take the air out of a match. We're now working down the right-hand side. Fletcher Bank with a step over. Picks his head up, and he'll pick out the pass. Cleary, who has the assist, gets the cross off. Allen can't quite get to it. It's cleared out. Settled. Now it's Raphael once again. Raphael wants the call, and he'll get it. What work by number 98, Raphael, the sophomore forward out of Haiti. And anytime he's found himself on the ball, he has found himself double-teamed, and he has been doing fantastic work, fantastic hold-up play, particularly in this final 45 minutes, to allow his team to create chances. Second in goals right now on this squad with 4, and in points with 11 points total, tied for second in assists with 3. He's just been a threat all around, and he's been fantastic in this match as well.
You can tell that the focus on him from Stanford on the defensive side, definitely part of the game plan. He scored 4 goals last season, including one in that win over Stanford back on October 17th last season. So they weren't messing around this time when they made the game plan.
Probably remembered that 98. Thought, hey, let's double team him. He's coming off of a goal against Santa Clara. 3 shots, 2 on goal. One of them went in. Yeah, it's 2 game winners on the season.
I mean, second team all WCC last year, freshman team year before. You know, he's one of the studs on this team.
Now a bit of a scuffle. Fletcher Bank will fall to the ground as Raphael was just trying to get the ball back. out of the hands of Fletcher Bank, who seems immediately all right. He'll pop back up. Some good sportsmanship between the two. That's a big free kick here as the clock continues to tick down. These set pieces become all that much more important. How efficient can you be? It will be Jones over it with the right, Raphael over it with the left. 2 in the wall for the Cardinal. It's Raphael with the left, back post. Headed up and out, and helped all the way out by Bank. Now putting it back in, chasing it down is Palmer Bank. He's trying to shield it from Jones. He does so, a battle between the two. It'll be a foul called against Jones. We mentioned those aerial duels, Jenna. That feels like another one that the Cardinal win in an ever important moment. Schnebly taking his time. He's been carded before for time wasting. He won't be carded this time. He'll send it long. Cleared by Jones. It'll be Cardinal throw on the left-hand side. Bank brothers will certainly take their time to take this. A stoppage of clock is requested by the referee, who wants none of the time-wasting business. He said, if you're not going to go quickly, we're going to stop this clock ourselves. So the Cardinal put it back into play, and Groeneveld goes all the way back to Schnebly.
And Cardinal have surpassed that 20 mark in the shot column with 21.
Once again, excellent work by the center backs of the USF Dons, specifically Duggan, who's been everywhere. Duggan also the target on a lot of those set pieces, the tall center back. Gets forward on those. He'll swing it through Jones. Over to the left side, trying to find that quick 1-2. Tia will send it out of bounds. Better switch from the Dons, but just trying to go too quickly. Tia with a little too much pace on that one. Will Cleary, the captain, has the assist on the day to Shane de Flores. Will throw it in for the Cardinal. Once again, we're going to have a stoppage of clock and perhaps a talking to Jeremy Gunn, chatting with our center referee, Brad Church. Well, USF, honestly, no strangers to coming from behind either. Not long ago, back on the 15th of October versus Pacific, went down 1-0 and rallied back to make it 2-1. Conceded in the 90th minute for Pacific to then draw it even 2-2. And then Chris Malandano scored 30 seconds later with just 16 seconds left in the game to win 3-2. So do not turn this TV off until you hear that final buzzer.
Maldonado, just his first career game winner as well in that one.
What a moment to have it.
Yeah, no kidding.
You don't get a lot of buzzer beaters in soccer. And specifically, college is the only time you will get those buzzer beaters. So to get one, what a moment.
And you laid it out there. All 3 of their goals were in the last 8 minutes of that matchup. We still have 11 and a half here in the second half.
Firestone will check back in. Ryan Firestone's been busy in this half. Sophomore out of Los Angeles, California. Just his 3rd appearance on the season, but he's getting a lot of minutes tonight. Cleary will clear. Funny how it's taken me this long to say that. And it'll be Don's throwing on the far side. I'll send to who else but Jones with the big throw. Over to take it. I'll wipe this ball off, take his time. This is a difficult ball to defend as well. Anything coming across the face of the goal, it's difficult. It can get lost in the lights. Hard to redirect. Here's the ball in. Headed out by Tenconi Gradias. It falls to Stone, who will send it all the way out. Atia, with plenty of time, will send it all the way in, but too far in as he was aiming for Beeson. Beeson a little frustrated on that one. Dons are led by Chris Brown in his 5th season. Record at USF, 32, 32, and 15. He attended Boston College, played at Boston College, 3-year captain and goalkeeper, named the 2008 ACC Goalkeeper of the Year. Was part of the United States Olympic team pool in 2007 before the Beijing Olympics, and played professionally in Norway. You love it when a goalkeeper becomes a head coach. You usually see goalkeepers become goalkeeper coaches, but he's a goalkeeper that became a head coach. No wonder this team is so defensive-minded. Here's the ball in the middle of the box. It's not cleared out yet. Handball called for, but it's going the other direction. Stoppage of the clock. Oh, some chaos created by the long throw of Jones. Back to Chris Brown. For a goalkeeper to be a head coach, it certainly makes sense when you start to layer in that this team's so defensive-minded.
And some familiarity with the ACC, having played at Boston College. He was the goalkeeper of the year in the ACC back in 2008. Actually helped that squad get their first ACC regular season and tournament championship in 2007. Their first overall NCAA tournament seed in program history that year as well.
Of course, Stanford were not a part of the ACC at that time, but he's certainly familiar with the Cardinal now, that's for sure. Out of bounds and a throw-in once again for the Dons. 9 minutes to play, and once again, it will be on the arms of Kean Jones. Dug in number 4, the center back. Big, tall target in the middle. Into the box, headed out. Settle, there's the shot, and Schnebley comes up huge.
The first shot on goal we have seen from the Dons. First test that Schnebley was put up against, and he passed.
Atia put some heat on that one. Schnebley's view looked like it was obstructed. Here's a ball in now on the other side coming from Fletcher Bank. Certainly the mark of a great goalkeeper when you can have a pretty dormant game and then come up huge in a big moment when needed. Fletcher Bank now in the corner. Trying to keep it in the corner, it seems. Doing a good job of it. It's Fletcher Bank and Raphael now battling it out. Fletcher Bank will now pass it off to his brother. What work by the senior there in the corner. He's offsides as the freshman Partal was trying to find Fletcher Bank, who points to the AR and says, I was offside. It'll be a goal kick, as Bank didn't touch that ball. It'll be a goal kick for USF, and it looks like Dylan Greneveld, center back, will jog off. And it will be Dylan Hooper who will enter for the Stanford Cardinal. Dylan Hooper, who was injured earlier on in this season, coming off of an off-season injury. Talk about last-minute goals. He is relatively famous for the what they're calling miracle from midfield, a game-winning goal against Notre Dame. That was his one goal of the season last year. He was a starting center back, played and started in every single game at that center back role last year. We mentioned earlier on that these are two brand new center backs, starting center backs for the Stanford Cardinal. It was Dylan Hooper and Noah Adnan who were the starting center backs all year last year. So to finish off this game, it's Dylan Hooper in alongside Alfonso Tenconi-Gradius, who will stay there in that right center back role.
Yeah, that was a buzzer beater.
Truly.
In the first round of the ACC tournament last year. The game-winning goal from Hooper, and it was from midfield. 12 seconds left, and it was after the equalizer from the Irish. And he just went for it and absolutely connected, which was one of the coolest moments that this program has seen in recent years, which is saying a lot.
Yeah. It was the one and only Kevin Dana on that call, who I think summed up the moment perfectly by just screaming. Here's another long throw in from Jones into the middle. Head out, it falls down to Judkins, and then it's cleared out. Raphael will chase it down. Just over 6 minutes now to play. Dons have found success, at least in causing some chaos with those long throws from Jones. Schnebly was caught a little high, a little too far off of his line. Managed to backpedal. Now he'll pick it up. Long ball sent by Schnebly. It'll be a Stanford Cardinal throw. Excuse me, it'll be a Dons throw. Some disagreement from the Stanford sideline. It'll be a Dons throw on their left-hand side. Just under 6 minutes to play. Plenty of time if you are these two teams. 1-0 Stanford Cardinal. Mentioned the Dons have taken this 2 years in a row. That falls to Tomo Allen. He's dispossessed. Here comes USF. Judkins on the left, he's dispossessed. Doyle will now find Bohane. Bohane trying to send it forward to Allen, who can't get there. Jones out of his net.
Nearly dangerous there.
Absolutely, that ball just a little too far away from Liam Doyle, or we might have seen him try to chip Jones as he was found out of position. Now here's the cross in. Schnebly is there for the Cardinal. And for the record, on that far left side getting that cross in, it was Duggan, the center back, getting all the way forward. Liam Doyle. They'll keep it on the right side, out of bounds. Don's throw. Liam Doyle, a senior out of Tokyo, Japan. He's gotten consistent minutes off the bench this year. He'll be honored amongst the rest of the seniors, of course, on Sunday. As the Cardinal host SMU, we'll have a stoppage of clock indicated by our center referee. 4 minutes and change to play. "21 shots, 8 on target for the Cardinal. 5 shots, 1 on target for the Dons. Lucas Jones has 6 saves statistically. Many more in our hearts.
That's right. Officially, that's what it is in the books right now. But the presence he has had, both officially and unofficially, has been a game changer.
Absolutely. Jones sends it forward. Trying to help it on was Kean Jones. And then slipping as he tries to kick that was Beeson. It'll be a Stanford Cardinal throw deep in their own half. Kean Jones thought that was going to be USF ball. So did Duggan. Frustration certainly mounting on the USF side. You can understand why. Schnebly will send everybody forward. Cardinal right now sitting at 11 wins, 1 loss, 1 draw. They're first in the ACC with 5 wins and 1 loss. The Dons, 8 wins, 3 losses, 1 draw. And 3 wins, 2 losses in the WCC in the West Coast Conference. They're sitting in 4th. So of their 3 total losses on the season, 2 of those have come in conference play. It will be once again Kean Jones with a big throw. All the way into the box, not cleared out, top of the box, swinging at it, and a high kick is going to be called. That was Beeson taking a big swing at it. He'll get called for a high boot.
Bohane did a nice job clearing that out near the top of the box.
Under 3 minutes to play now. Schnebly will send it forward. Doyle. We'll see what Doyle will do. Will he take it end line and try to go to the corner? No, he's going to cross it in. He's got Fletcher Bank. And Jones once again off of his line. Was curious to see what Doyle was going to do. Was he going to take it corner? But he saw the opening. He saw Fletcher Bank open on the back post, and he went for it. Stone. Good turn from Doherty in the middle. Dons will switch it. Firestone with an attempted cross in. It's blocked by Bohane, and it will be once again the arms of Kean Jones to take this throw. His arms might be equally as sore as his legs tomorrow, which is not common in soccer.
One of a few hometown kids from San Francisco on this team.
There's that big throw from Jones into the box, headed on. Doyle got his foot on it, otherwise it was the wide open Judkins on the back post who was waiting for it. Now back into the box. Chaos. Who can get their head on it first? Firestone, it'll fall to his feet. He'll send it back wide. Jones will put it back into the box. Raphael splits his defenders, trying to get it back on that left. Just 1 minute to play. And Atia does a good job to win the corner kick. Raphael will take it, and he's trying to go quickly. They'll go short. Atia to Raphael. That was not a good ball to Raphael. It's not where he needed it, and the Dons are dispossessed because of it. Bohane in a battle on the left. What defense there? That's Beeson. Beeson putting it back into the box, but Schnebley's there.
Chaos as the seconds tick away here. And again, a rivalry that has existed for over 50 years.
Would say their rivalry remains strong based on this. Two players go down. It's Chrétien on the ground and Tenconi Gradias as the 10-second countdown begins. Fans all get up, and that will be the last play of the match, and that's it.
Is the Stanford Cardinal